What's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel, Bounded and Bookmarked. I'm Jaleesa, and today's video is kind of just a recommendations video. A couple of you asked me for books like these in a live stream recently, so I figured let's curate a quick little list of books that make you feel all of the sad feels. But before I begin with my video and my book recommendations, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do so below. Also, I will have my Twitter and my Instagram linked in the description box below, and my Goodreads if you guys want to follow that too. And so let's get right into this list. All of these books that I'm going to recommend to you guys are books that made me cry. I'm going to start with my most recent read, which is a book that I didn't expect to really enjoy as much as I did. I read it recently for a reading vlog, which you guys will be seeing soon, hopefully. I thought it was a romance book. It does have romance in it, but this is definitely a contemporary. It is young adult, and that is Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. So this book follows Jessie. Jessie is 17 years old for part of this book, and then she's 18 for the other part. It has a dual timeline. Basically, there's a then and there's a now. In this book, Jessie is very close with the Cohen family. The Cohen family is made up of Mel, which is their mother, and then you have Luke, which is the oldest brother, and then Rowan, aka Ro, who is the younger brother. They're only 1 year apart, so not a big age difference. And Rowan and Jessie are best friends, and they grew up together. She started hanging out with them when she was 7 years old, so she's been in their life pretty much for most of her life. She's always loved Luke, and he hasn't always known that, but she does make it clear in this book at some point. So some trigger warnings. In this one, you have depression, postpartum depression, death, and sickness. I don't know how else to explain that, but illnesses like cancer, for example. So just to keep that in mind, if any of these topics are hard for you to read about, I would steer clear of all of the ones I'm going to recommend to you, because all of them have one or two of these elements in them. So you have Jessie, who I like as a character. She was great to read about. I feel like she was very realistic. Everyone in this book was just so human. And I think out of all of the ones that I'm going to recommend to you guys today, the characters in this book I feel like were the most well-rounded, were the most flawed, in the sense that as a human being, we have our flaws. We also have, you know, the good things about us, but none of us are perfect. So I think that this book showcases so lovely how difficult things can be when you're young, how to navigate through loss at a young age. It's not easy to do. So I think that Sarah did a great job of showing that to us. So the big thing to take away from this book is that it does follow Jessie and the way that she navigates the Cohen family. And so all of them are trying to figure out how to navigate this big life-changing event for them. And then you do have the death of someone else in this book that changes the lives of all of the people involved. And Jessie feels like she's at the heart of this person's passing. She feels like she's at the heart of breaking up the Cohen's family. It navigates not knowing really where to go or how to be after you lose someone who's important to you. I gave this book 4 stars when I read it just the other day. Yeah, it was a great read for me. This next book is one that I have talked about in a video way back when I first started my channel. This book is one of my favorites. It's one that I recommend often for people who want a hard-hitting YA contemporary that showcases a lot of very deep topics and also romance at the same time. So we have If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. Yes, I'm covering up the Target sticker because I don't like it being there, but I'm also afraid to ruin the cover of this book. Anyway, this book follows 2 best friends turned not really enemies, but turned kind of enemies, or strangers really, if you will. And their names are Autumn and Finn. Autumn and Finn grew up together literally. Their moms are best friends to the point where they're both pregnant with the kids at the same time. They had their kids around the same time. They live next door to each other, so they spend every holiday together. In middle school, something happens, and that something causes Finn and Autumn to not talk anymore. They're always walking on eggshells around each other because they just don't know how to act, because they both deep down have feelings for each other, but they both have different sets of friends. As a reader, we know what they're thinking, but the characters have no idea what's going on in each other's minds. So it's really fun to read that. And we get to see how their moms kind of play a part in their friendship. And I loved watching their interactions because they were so awkward and so funny sometimes. But then you get to their senior year of high school. There's a tragic accident in the beginning of this book, and at the end, the way that it's written is really interesting because the author wrote the first opening scene, which is the accident, but you don't know what happens to the character in the accident until the very end. The ending of this book broke my heart. Like, I literally was devastated. And then the way that one of the other characters handled the tragedy was also really sad. So if you're gonna read this book, there is death, there is self-harm, teenage pregnancy, and yeah. So I give this book 5 stars. I loved it. Okay, so this next, it's not one book, it's actually a trilogy. It's one that I've talked about a lot. That trilogy is The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't even know if this is in order. It's definitely not. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. Some of you are thinking this is not an emotional story, and for a lot of you maybe it wasn't, but for me it definitely was. This book follows this young girl named Belly. So Belly grew up going to this beach house every summer with these two boys and their mother. You have Susanna, which is the mom, and then you have Conrad and Jeremiah. Conrad is the oldest brother, Jeremiah is his younger brother. However, Belly has crushed on Conrad since she can remember. Jeremiah, however, has also kind of crushed on Belly, which is, you know, his best friend. And so Conrad is the kind of boy who was misunderstood, kind of like the neighborhood bad boy, but he was always kind of like standoffish with her, try to put her in like the little sister friend zone thing, but deep down Conrad always had feelings for her. So I actually said in my blog, which you guys will see later, but the first book I mentioned, Some Other Now, reminds me so much of this trilogy in so many ways. There are so many parallels to these two stories, but this series, I love it. I will preface this with also saying this is a love triangle thing, so if you guys don't like love triangle tropes, this is not gonna be for you. And it's also like the best friend's brother trope too, so again, if you don't like those tropes, do not read these books because I don't want to disappoint you. But yes, every summer they go to Cousins Beach and they all hang out, and Susanna actually gets sick. She does end up having cancer, and these books again deal with death and they deal with sickness. I have such a soft spot for Belly because I feel like I understand Belly, I understand her motivations, I understand how confusing feelings can be at 15 and at 16 years old. This series does a good job about showing how, you know, there's a lot of self-discovery that comes with relationships, self-discovery that comes with just growing up in general, and then how, again, to navigate the loss of someone that you care about, especially when that person isn't a part of your immediate family, but they seem like family to you. How do you navigate that? Because the people who are family to them and who are related to them are taking it extremely hard, and you don't want to step on toes. You don't want to feel like you're crossing boundaries, but that person was equally as important to you as they are to them. Also, it's by Jenny Han. I love Jenny Han, one of my favorite authors. It has a special place in my heart right there. So it also has some really bright factors in it too. It has summertime feels. The beach is a huge part of this trilogy, so there are still light moments in this series, along with the sentimental and emotional part that will definitely pull on some of your heartstrings. The next book I don't have physically, but I read it as an ebook and it was literally amazing. It is not YA, it is adult, and that book is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna list the trigger warnings for you for All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. You have miscarriage, a difficult pregnancy, infidelity, and I believe that's it. So All Your Perfects follows Quinn and Graham, and they have a very unconventional meet cute. This book starts off with two characters whose boyfriends and girlfriends are cheating on them, and Quinn and Graham actually meet because of their cheating significant others. They end up actually having a romance form from that. So they are together, and again, we have a dual timeline situation. You have the then and you have the now. During the then timeline, we get to witness Quinn and Graham get to know each other, and that's the portion of the story where they're dating, they're getting engaged, all that really beautiful happy stuff. In the now timeline, we see a very damaged and a very broken-hearted Quinn and Graham for multiple reasons. They are having issues in their relationship, problems in their relationship, there's infidelity in this relationship, and there's also difficulty getting pregnant and miscarriages. So there's a lot of trigger warnings here. So Quinn and Graham, their story is one that I love because it showcases marriage in a way that is very transparent. This book, I feel like, because it's contemporary, involves a lot of deep-rooted emotions, and the way that Colleen Hoover wrote this story was so impressive to me. I have no experience in any of these areas. I can't speak on those situations, but what I can say, there were moments where the couple themselves navigated these hardships so beautifully. And it's not always like that, of course, but I loved Quinn, I loved Graham. They were two very imperfect people, very imperfect people. They had so much to lose in this story, but in the end, this book showed that like their love, and I say their love because this is not always the case in real life and in every relationship, but in this story, their love saved them. What they promised each other in the beginning when they first got together, when they first got married, when they first said their vows, when things were still good and things were simple and easier, they were reminded of those things in the end, and it saved their relationship. There's so much in this book that was done so beautifully. I love this story. So those are all the books on my list of books that will make you cry or make you feel all the feels, make you emotional, that will pull on your heartstrings, all of those things. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye.